quick overview of how to analyze the CarbChoice Advanced Profile. So if you are need just a super brief overview of the highlights of this report, this video is for you. So we have the title page, a disclaimers page. Congratulations, this is the basic science that we're looking at the AME1 gene that encodes for the enzyme amylase, and that we're looking at the AME1 gene because we're looking at the number of duplicates of this gene, not the version of the gene, meaning that we're looking at the number of cannons lining the fort. This is the single best analogy to review with people in your practice. That imagine your gut as a fort, and your carb choice number is the number of cannons shooting down approaching carbs. The more cannons you have, the easier it is to shoot down those carbs. Like your gut is a fort, and the approaching carbs are the Vikings approaching the fort, and your carb choice number is the number of cannons lining it. The more cannons you have, the better off you're going to be. So if someone has only 2 cannons, they're not going to do as well as someone who has 10 cannons. People can have between 1 and 20 cannons. Another metaphor is that this number of carb scissors, the fewer number of scissors you have, the fewer number of carbs you're going to be able to cut up. Then we have a quick start guide if people want to increase their firing rate of their cannons. You can have your cannons change their firing rate based on certain lifestyle habits. Chewing more, eating greens first, by eating your highest carb meal within 2 hours of your time of exercise, eating more amylase supporting foods and decreasing amylase suppressing foods, and then also savoring your food. And the quick order of approach is you can teach people what their carb choice number is, teach them the finger rule, choosing smart carbs, ways to boost amylase, of which there are 5 options right here below, other lifestyle recommendations, and then supportive supplements. We have the results page, preview page rather. Then we've got their actual numbers. So this is a carb choice over 2. This is actually mine. And for quick interpretation, just know that 2s through 4s are paleo, 1s are more keto, 2s to 4s are more paleo, 2s kind of borderline between the two. 5 through 8s are shades of gray of Mediterranean, and 9 and above is considered higher carb. Basically, the lower the number, the more at risk people are metabolically for metabolic abnormalities as it relates to blood sugar and glycemic control. The higher the number, the easier it is for them to control their blood sugar and the higher amounts of carbs they can process. If people are really wanting actual ranges in grams per day, in the bottom left corner, depending on what number they are, will show what percentage it would be. So 1 to 4s will have under 130 grams per day. The different number will be between 5 and 8, and a different one for 9 and above. Then this page explains the finger rule and also the overall categories for low, moderate, and high carb capacity. Finger rule is going to be the most important thing to teach if people are not inclined to measure their grams of carbs per meal. This is the thing to spend the most time on because it helps people really feel empowered and have a lot of agency over the number of carbs that they can tolerate as an upper limit. So their carb choice number is equivalent to the volume of the number of fingers. So a 2 would be the volume of 2 fingers of high carb foods maximum per meal, and double that if it's lower carb foods, up to a maximum of 10. And the reason why we use the finger rule is that fingers roughly scale in size and weight of a person's body type. If you can't tell someone necessarily if they're under 5 foot or if they're over 6'5", that if they're a 2, they're going to have the exact same number of carbs because they have just different metabolic needs. But what you can do is approximate by scaling with the size of the fingers. This is a really good option if people aren't going to be counting their grams of carbs. Next page is a sample meal plan, introduction to the sample meal plans and cooking methods. Baking, frying, microwaving of course really affect people's glycemic responses. So does boiling, and these are the methods of cooking that create the least amount overall of glycemic response. And then we've got this page here, page 11, which covers which covers the different style diet, the sample diets that people can just plug into. So they can click on any of these and they get a starter recipe guide to make things really easy. This page is something to post in their kitchen where it shows the amongst the most common higher carb foods, with the reminder that they get 1x up to 1x of their highest carbs for a maximum of 10. And we got whole grains, vegetables, fruits and roots, higher carbs foods. And then we got the lower carbs, it's a 2x, they're figuring up to a maximum of about 10. Then we got the little to no starch, and then we got the resistant starch. And special note, just another really important point, that if people have, if their carb is over 10, their carb number is over 10, or their carb number is like 5 and above, then doubling that, it's an easy metric, is that it's the size of roughly the size of their fist, because that's the size of your stomach. And you wouldn't really want to tell someone to eat more than the size of their stomach in carbs. And with an asterisk that if there's someone who is into really, really heavy training or may require more carbs and whatever other factors, to always work with you, the practitioner. Then we have this page, which covers how citric acid foods can increase the firing rate, but not all citric acid foods are helpful for every person. So, for example, it says right here, like some people may be reactive to nightshades, so tomatoes aren't a good idea. Some people may be on medications, and grapefruit's not a good idea. So you just gotta. This list is strictly from a citric acid lens, but there are not every food on here is always the right choice for somebody if they're wanting to increase their amylase. And then there's foods here that decrease amylase, the firing rate, decrease their production, and doesn't mean that these foods are bad. It just means that you've got to make adaptations to increase the firing rate in other ways, or eat these foods separately from the other higher carb foods. Also note that smoking reduces amylase. Then we come to this page, which talks about habits that also improve digestion, like lowering stress and chewing thoroughly, avoiding smoking. Sleeping will help improve your parasympathetics and therefore increase more saliva production. Eating within 2 hours of exercising, you can have up to about 500% increased amylase levels temporarily. By the way, that doesn't mean that everyone has to exercise before they eat carbs. It's just that if you were to min-max and to optimize, have your highest carb meal within 2 hours of exercising, but don't make it just try not to make it like a thing where people in your practice get paranoid and that they have to exercise before every carb. That's not what this is saying. It's just, if you want optimal levels of amylase for your highest carb meal, then exercise within 2 hours. Hydration is real important. If you're dehydrated, you can't make saliva to carry the amylase. And then if you're looking to offer digestive support in the form of supplements, these are the list of ingredients that support digestion, carb metabolism, sugar cravings, and resistant starch. You can pick your own companies and individual products, but these are the individual ingredients that do help if you find that your clients or patients need extra support in the form of supplements. Then we have a page on exercise, which shows research, actually by the exact same researchers, 10 years apart, that zone cardio and high intensity interval training both increase amylase, and recommendation that they work with someone who's trained in exercise, and that to also consider the other genetic realities around exercise that are found in the Fit Genes genetic blueprint, like the speed versus endurance gene, VO2 max and aerobic capacity genes, and injury risk genes as well. Then we have a quick key terms glossary, and then we have a page on more scientific explanations, and then a whole pile of references. And if you are inclined, or anyone in your practice is inclined, all these links are clickable, where they can read the direct research themselves very, very conveniently. And the last page is a more expanded list of disclaimers. So that is the short review of how to go over carb choice and the carb choice advanced profile.